Here is a petty revenge Reddit story. It's titled, "The Time My Girlfriend Dumped Me for a Friend." So, this happened over a decade ago. I was in my mid-20s, and at the time it happened, no one really asked for all the details. I just gave everyone the short story, so I have not told the story to that many people. Thought I would share it here as I think it is a pretty good revenge story in the end. Me and my ex-girlfriend were together for almost 5 years. We lived together for 3. She was like the perfect daughter, except she was pretty lazy and could not hold a job. The last year of our relationship was obviously pretty bad, very rocky, and to be honest, just boring. But we decided we would stick together. I even bought an apartment for us since I was the only one with an income. I was also the only one who paid for it. This is how it ended. Friday. I come home from work, greet my ex-girlfriend, chat about the day, have a shower. After the shower, I get dressed and go grab a cold beer from the fridge. I sit down by my PC and it does not even have time to boot up and I hear, "Babe, are you happy?" I'm not happy. I ask, "Happy?" "Yeah, I feel pretty good, blah blah blah, what do you mean?" I knew what she meant. She tells me she has thought about it and already made up her mind. She wants out of the relationship. At this point, I have no more fight left in me. She has made up her mind. This is obviously happening. So we have a talk about it for about 2 hours. The talk went really well. She pretty much agreed on everything I said, and I was right about everything, and so on. Being broken up with sucks, but this time it was the easiest, so I thought. I thought we were on the exact same page about how we are going to deal with the breakup and move forward. I even told her I will not kick her out of the apartment. I would let her live in the apartment rent-free since she was unemployed until she finds a new place. And I told her I don't want her to take whatever place she gets offered. I want her to move to a place or an area she feels safe in and actually will enjoy living in. Like I mentioned, she agreed, said that everything I said seemed very reasonable. The breakup talk went really smooth. She tells me that she will be staying at my mother's place over the weekend so we can get some space. My mother was out of town at that time. Once my ex-girlfriend left, I called up my friend and told him what just happened. He told me to come to his place first thing in the morning. We can go grab some breakfast, do something fun, and take my mind off things. Saturday. I went over around noon to my friend's place. We had some deep talks. He joked about a bunch of silly stuff my ex-girlfriend had said or done over the years and was trying to keep my mind off of the breakup. To sum up the day, this, of course, for some reason, ended with us getting wasted and throwing a big party at my friend's place. I had a good time actually. Was about to text my ex-girlfriend in the middle of the night, something like, "I'm really glad that we are at least dealing with this breakup like adults, being upfront and all. You are still my best friend." But I actually erased it before I sent it and did not send her a single text. I come home from the party sometime early Sunday morning, like around 6 or 7 in the morning. I noticed there seemed to be some things missing from the apartment, books and curtains. But my still drunk mind does not process this, so I just go to bed. Sunday. I wake up in the afternoon and can now clearly see things are missing. I start going through stuff and at some point I panic and like the hipster I am, I look at my vinyl collection. I flipped through the records and as I had suspected, one record was gone. It was a signed copy of a record I bought from an artist himself after a concert. It was even signed, "Best of luck and take it easy, Riff Grinder," so it has my name on it. I try to call her, she will not answer the phone. I call my mother in case she would have been in touch with her. I called her sister to ask if she had heard anything about her, but no, other than the fact that we broke up. About an hour later, I get a call from my mother. She managed to get in touch with my ex-girlfriend, and it turns out she never even stayed at my mother's place. She had been spending the whole weekend at, let's call him Mike's place. Now, at the time, Mike was a friend of mine, a pretty good friend too, I thought. The revenge part. I text my ex-girlfriend that I am happy to see you found a new place to live so quick. Since you obviously don't need me anymore, I thought I will pack up the remaining stuff you forgot to pick up during the night while I was away. If you're not here in 2 hours, I will just leave it outside the sidewalk for you. Almost those exact words, but in Swedish, since I am Swedish, of course. She called me about a minute later. She was in a panic, said she can't make it in 2 hours as she needs to find a van or something that can fit all her stuff. She even asked if I knew somebody who had a van we could borrow. I told her to get a rental, and in 2 hours the stuff will be nicely packed up and waiting for her outside and hung up. I then proceed to actually pack up her stuff, and she had a lot of stuff. At some point, I find her old MacBook in her closet of all places. She had not used this computer in 2 years, but I could still see the little LED light glowing, indicating it was charged. I opened the laptop and to my surprise, a Facebook page opens. She was logged into a fake account she had made with one conversation in her chat history, Mike. Dating back several months, I could not read it at the time. I was torn up and angry. I just scrolled to the first message to see it was like 4 to 5 months earlier than they had began chatting through her fake profile. It was very clear from the message I did read they had initiated a secret relationship and pretty much planned to break up together. I managed to retrieve her login details, and I called up her sister and gave her the details and asked her if she wants to know why we broke up. She can just read the chat logs. I also asked her sister not to confront my ex-girlfriend about the chat logs until I had a chance to speak to her about it first, and she informs me she can't read the chat by herself as she feels so embarrassed about her own sister, so she drove to her parents' place to read it together with their mother. Even better. I also stopped packing up my ex-girlfriend's stuff after I found the chat. When my ex-girlfriend arrived at my place, she was expecting her stuff nicely packed up for her, but instead, the first thing she sees is the laptop on the ground in the hallway with the conversation open. Her face goes pale. I then tell her that as we speak, her sister and mother is currently reading through the chat logs, and I then tell her to pack up her own stuff by herself. She did. It took like 5 hours or so, and I just sat on a couch observing her. When I closed the door behind her after she had grabbed the last box, I blocked her everywhere and have not seen her since. Let's see what the comment section have to say. First commenter says, "But did you ever get your album back?" DOP responds, "I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that yes, I did get it back." Another commenter wanted to know, did you get your other stuff back, like your curtains? Why did she take your album in the first place? The OP responds by saying she was with me at the concert when I bought the record, so in her head, she was entitled to it. No, I was left with basically an empty apartment, and she had previously sold or gotten rid of most of my furniture and gotten us new furniture on her dad's credit card. So when she came back to pick the stuff up that she brought, most of the stuff was hers. I was left with a bed, a couch, my desk, an office chair, my stereo and vinyl collection, the bookshelves, a kitchen table with no chairs, lol. Many trips to IKEA and similar stores later, I was all good. Another commenter says, crazy. One small thing I'm not clear on though. You said you found out from your mom that she wasn't staying there. How did you find out where she was staying before you texted her that you were going to get rid of her stuff? You didn't say the chat until you started packing her stuff, so by then you didn't know she was cheating on you. So how did you know she was with Mike? The OP responded by, I had known Mike for a while. Before I was with her, my mother was aware of who he was. I called my mom to ask if she heard anything from my ex since she was supposed to stay at my mother's place, right? But when I told my mom about the missing stuff, my mom got a bit worried or suspicious and started calling my ex until she finally answered the phone. My mom somehow managed to get her to confess who she was with all, and because she heard a male voice in the background. So that is how I found out. When my ex-girlfriend knew I knew where she was, there was no point in trying to hide it, I guess. Another commenter says, then you dealt with Mike, I hope. OP does respond back by saying, I just blocked him everywhere. I actually did run into him into a bar like almost a year after this happened. He asked me if I wanted to talk. I looked him dead in the eye and said there is not a single thing I want to hear from him or say to him, and then I walked away. I was not going to risk spending a night in jail over this dude. Good thing, OP. He is totally not worth it. Another commenter says, do you know if they are still together at all, or did it fall apart once they didn't have the excitement of cheating? OP responds by saying, think it lasted for a few years. He became or turned into a alcoholic. In the end, his drunk bud could not stand her anymore, and he was the one who left. Okay, I guess karma bit them in the butt. What do you guys think of this revenge story? Would you have done something similar as the OP? Let me know in the comments section. And if you like these types of stories, remember to continue to like and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later.